Hi guys, today's video is going to be on minerals and why they are so important to us. We all know that we need potassium, sodium, magnesium, and calcium. But why do we need those things and how do we get those things inside of us? That's what today's video is going to be about. Stay tuned. Everybody knows we need potassium. So we need 4,700 potassium, but is everybody getting 4,700 potassium in a day? And I'll show you how we're gonna get that potassium. And did you know there's for a cup of bananas is about 500 potassium, but a cup of avocados is about 700 potassium. So avocado doesn't have the insulin spike of a banana, and it's actually healthier for you. Here's a tip for you on potassium. Everybody knows that we need sodium. So the government likes to recommend about 2,300 sodium per day. We recommend up to 5,000 sodium. And the reason that we recommend that much sodium is we are on a low carbohydrate nutrition lifestyle. And when you're on a low carbohydrate ketonic lifestyle, we deplete ourselves of a lot of minerals. So for every one less carbohydrates we consume, we lose 3 to 4 grams of water out of our muscles in glycogen. So we have to make sure that we replenish our minerals. A lot of athletes have to do this as well, or they'll cramp. The other mineral that's really important is magnesium. And this helps us relax a little bit. We need 450 magnesium per day. Another vital mineral that we need is calcium. And this is a 750 milligram supplement, but we need 1,000 milligrams calcium per day. As far as getting all your calcium in per day, quite frankly, this is a supplement that's up in my cupboard that I don't even take because I always get enough calcium from my nutrition. All right, so let's go ahead and show you how to get these minerals inside of your body. So these are the two juggernauts right here. These are the most important, is the sodium and the potassium. As far as magnesium, I generally get most of my magnesium from my food, but I always take a magnesium supplement right before I go to bed so I rest easier. These spoons right here, this little spoon, 2 of these heaping for me equals 4,000 milligrams of salt. And you have to multiply by 0.4. So that equals 1.6 grams of sodium. So for here, the potassium, 2 heaping scoops of this like this, I've measured it out in a very precise scale. 2 heaping scoops of this equals 3 grams, which equals 1,500 potassium right here. So inside of my cup here, I have 1,500 potassium and I have 1.6 grams of sodium, or you could call it 1,600 milligrams of sodium. As far as I already told you about the magnesium, I do that before bed, and I told you that I do not take the calcium. So this is the main ones that I take. So how do I get those in? Sometimes, to be honest with you, I will do them just like that because it's a sustenance thing. It's something I need. But a little trick that I like to show people is before I go to bed especially, I like to have, I'm almost out here, of apple cider vinegar. And I like to pour a little bit of apple cider vinegar in, I call it my concoction. And then what I do is I take a little Bragg's, these are both Bragg's, liquid aminos, and I put a little bit in there. And believe it or not, even though apple cider vinegar is acidic, it has an alkaline effect on your body. Very much like lemon juice. So what I do is I put a couple squirts of lemon juice in there, and what that does, it actually helps balance the pH in your body. And then I stir that up. Another great thing that apple cider vinegar is a cure-all. It's been that way for many years. But really when I use it for more intestinal health, digestive health, and help. And what it does, it actually helps break down the protein and helps with your gut biome. And again, even though it's acidic, it has a very alkaline effect on the body. Now this concoction here is a little bit to get used to at first. But if you start talking to yourself, speaking to yourself, why am I doing this concoction? It makes it a lot easier to wrap your head around. And deep down inside, on a cellular level, your body needs these things. So it'll start calling for them. But the problem with us is that we have a hard time being structured, disciplined, and consistent with our nutrition habits. And that's why we don't even, many times our body doesn't know if it's coming or going. So what we're going to talk about, guys, is some of the reasons why we need to get these minerals and what happens if we don't. If we don't, let's just get that out of the way. Get the bad stuff out of the way. Our muscles will cramp. We'll have a tendency to get headaches. We'll feel very weak. We'll feel very lethargic. A little bit depressed, you can feel, along with anxious. You can get anxiety. And you can also have heart palpitations, irregular heartbeat from not having enough potassium. And it can actually also make your heart race, which will cause very irregular sleep, and you won't be able to get those deep REM cycles when you're sleeping. So there's so many different reasons why we got to get this. And when we're doing a ketonic diet, what happens is if you don't get these when you're first going into a low carbohydrate lifestyle, you'll get this thing called the keto flu. And you'll feel like it's the end of the world. And what you'll do is you'll toss the possibilities of even doing ketosis because you're not navigating it properly by making sure you got these guys in your plan, which is the most important thing to get, is having your minerals. And there's this fancy terminology the doctors like to speak of. And what that is, it's a sodium-potassium pump. So the sodium-potassium pump makes an exchange. So I don't know if you've ever noticed it. You ever had your skin and your body's like real jiggly or watery? Well, what that is a lot of times is, besides fat, of course, is there's water trapped underneath the skin. And the sodium cannot get into the cell without the potassium and without it opening up. So the cell needs to open up so they perform an exchange. So sodium wants to get in the cell, potassium wants to bring the sodium in the cell, and they want to do this back and forth. And that's also what we want to do, is we want to have that sodium-potassium pump exchange. And we want to also make all the connections inside of our brain so we feel like we're working right. And that's what these minerals help us do, not just inside of our brain, but also with our muscles, so we can contract our muscles. So a lot of times we underestimate these minerals and how important they are. So how many minerals did you get yesterday? So let's do a little recap. Remember, calcium, we need 1,000 calcium per day. Check. You'll get that from your food most likely. Magnesium, we need 450 a day. And it's not going to kill you to take the supplement before you go to bed. It'll help you sleep better and relax more. And any excess will be urinated out, by the way. Sodium, when you're in ketosis, you want to have about 5,000 sodium. That equals 12 grams of salt. Whatever your body doesn't use, it'll push it out. As long as your body's healthy. If you don't have high blood pressure, you don't have to worry about the sodium issues. And the potassium here, we need 4,700 potassium. And for every 1 gram of this, it equals 500 potassium. For every 1 gram of this equals 0.4 grams sodium. So for the healthy concoction that'll help digest your protein, restore your gut biome, and help make you healthy, is apple cider vinegar. And you want to add that with a little bit of Bragg's liquid aminos right here, with a little bit of lemon, with your sodium and potassium inside a cup. Stir it up and drink that before bed. And you can also drink this in the morning. And if you want, you could have it around lunchtime as well. But I recommend 2 times per day. First thing in the morning and 1 time right before bed. Hope these tips helped you. If you have any questions, please comment below and we'd be more than happy to answer them for you. Peace.